Imagine maxing out damage upgrades before you even start, and then critical hit damage goes up even more, and then we're off to the races with never before seen damage with never before seen chances of finding the very rarest of upgrades. And we're gonna start with Goo, and then I'm gonna get Implode. Attacks have a 10% chance to implode on impact, stunning enemies and dealing damage. Both of my upgrades so far are AoE, but they're also chance on hit, so they have a double thing going. And there's more AoE upgrades to be had. I'm going to pick Meteorite because it's the biggest, strongest of all the AoEs, and it's just really funny to rain massive meteors down on people's heads. Basically what I'm trying to say is we're going to do AoE all day. We're going to upgrade its damage and we're definitely going to upgrade its size. Basically nothing else is going to matter whatsoever. Implode again, it's a great upgrade, but once we get it to here, it'll be gold and it's probably going to be something amazing. The hardest part right now is waiting for enough idiots to spawn so I can kill them. Increase your damage by 15% is tempting, but bigger, more goo is more better. And the goo is more than up to the damage. We're firing 4 bullets at a time, and each one of those has its chance to launch its goo and black holes and meteorites. For the first time, we didn't get an AoE chance, so we're gonna get this. All damage dealt has an additional 10% chance to crit, and does 165% extra damage. But because of our earlier upgrades, it's actually 209% crits. Starting to get bigger clusters of enemies and they're all dying very quickly. Fire is also AoE. I've always hated this, but it's gotta get good eventually. And when you note our very next upgrade, enemies now have a 20% chance to ignite. Here's a good cluster of idiots and they're definitely melting awfully quick. So we can increase the damage of all our AoE. I'm gonna go for size first. Damage really isn't a problem right now, we just need to make things bigger. The bigger they are, the more things they'll hit anyway. We have a few good choices here. We could increase our AoE by another 15% or upgrade our regurgitated goo to its next level, which we will. It's just bigger, more dangerous goo that fires off more often. The goo is already absolutely huge. Then fire could already be leveled up to a blue upgrade. Enemies have a 22.5% chance to ignite, dealing 1.3 damage every half a second for 2 seconds. So we're turning the enemies into bombs and they're going to bomb each other. The enemies are starting to come at me in a full stream now, so we get experience all the quicker. Increase the damage of all AoE by 15%. That's a big one. The more of those are going to add up, the more damage we're going to do. Those numbers get real big. And here comes a big massive idiot, so this would be a good test. They all blow each other up. Increase the radius of all AoE another 15%, so even bigger goo balls and black holes and fire rings. A few different things going on here. We found Essence of Sigrid, which is an AoE, the gold version of the meteorite. But also Wildfire has another upgrade that started as a stupid little fire nova. This would actually be really good, but we're going to do Essence of Sigrid first. The first boss has appeared to us. It's Magmus, the wonderful moron that basically does nothing. We're going to drop a bunch of goo balls on his head while he fires in the wrong direction. And for our hard work, we're going to get 4 times Sentient Halo. Gain 1 extra damage for HP lost and a 20% chance to deal damage 1 extra time if your HP is below 40%. Now we're getting somewhere. Soul of a Mom is also AoE. I didn't realize that before. Attacks have a 3% chance to conjure the Soul of a Mom. It explodes, dealing big damage. So we're going to get that because that just adds another AoE attack. So our chance on hits up to like, I don't know, 300%. We'll test that AoE on all of these idiots. It's getting pretty big already. Sonic Howl is also AoE. It does get very good. We could fire an extra projectile. We got AoE. AoE or nothing. The Sonic Howl is not likely to do anything for a while, but we do finally have a mini boss showing up. So we're going to go ahead. Oh, they get stuck in a black hole too, so it actually stops them while we drop meteors on their head. So that's a nice combination of attacks. And he dropped this yellow orb instead of just giving me an upgrade, so I need to walk around like an idiot. We have a 60% increase to AoE radius. I mean, just look at the size of my goo balls and stuff already. Implode is going to get another upgrade because that's soon to be getting another color and more fun things happening with it. Things are already getting very big and chaotic, and we're only on level 2. The leg guys are coming in now, but they're going to have a lot of trouble getting past my massive AoE. Blob Ghosts are also AoE. I keep forgetting all these different things, but Black Hole also is into its pink level already. Luck is really on our side today. Ghost Blobs is showing up again next upgrade, so we also get a gold quality AoE. So everything, our chance on hit is well over 100. Every time we hit something, we get some AoE spawning, probably multiple of them. And that's obviously pretty bad news for the enemies, which are starting to get more numerous. Eventually they'll just be constantly around me, but they'll constantly be getting AoE to death. Black Hole is getting better. It's sitting at a solid 12.5 chance, but that's fine. As long as we're hitting an enemy, a lot of other enemies are also dying quickly. Attacks have a 12.5% chance to conjure a Frostbolt that slows enemies by 25% and deals a little damage. We're now going to get Explosive Blobs, which is also AoE. Enemies have a 10% chance to explode on death, dealing 9 AoE damage. So the chain reactions are going to start piling up. And we can increase the radius of all AoE by a further 15%. And these percentages should really start to add up. The explosions are already big enough that like if a chain reaction happens, they will cover the entire screen. Oh, this big guy's got no chance. He's way too slow. He's gonna get absolutely slime-balled. Our 1v1 damage is still a little bit lacking, but eventually we'll just stack that really badly and destroy. But now our AoE is so laughably strong that it doesn't matter. We know 2 times Frost Nova. Attacks have a 15% chance to conjure a Frostbolt that slows hit enemies by 30%, deals damage. So that's just more things happening. We've already leveled up again. Dealing damage to enemies above 95% has a 20% chance to deal 25% of that damage again. That's going to help quite a bit. It doesn't help our AoE at all, but it's still just more raw damage. We got another mini-boss showing up. I do like these chain reaction explosions. This one's a fast mini-boss. I'm still a lot faster though. He's given us a gold upgrade. We're getting so lucky. Oh, we're getting 3 times regurgitated goo.
Unmeasurable power.
That means attacks have a 20% chance to conjure 4 homing goos that seek out enemies, then explode in a medium radius, dealing 30 damage. These also have almost a 1 in 4 chance to relaunch themselves when they hit that final enemy. Increase the damage of all AoE by another 15%. So regurgitated goo is up to 34 damage. And it obviously goes off a lot. And it's really big. It'll hit like a lot of the enemies on the screen at any one time. Moves is coming to try and chase me around, which probably isn't a good idea. But we're just going to launch giant goo balls at it. Actually, if I just run in circles, I can just kite it around the giant pancake and it will constantly take damage. Also, we're going to take 4 times this thing, regenerate that much HP every 3 seconds and take 15% less damage. We also hurt enemies back. We could take damage. I want to upgrade my meteorite chance from 10 to 15% and the meteors deal 50 damage. That's just going to help me deal against bosses and stuff in a big way. Because our AoE is fine, like we set off these giant chain reactions and destroy the screen. But the bosses are going to be a different story somewhat because they're just going to be really tough, so we're not going to be able to make them disappear. We're also starting to get the helmet morons, but our AoE should still melt them pretty easily. The explosions are kind of covering what's happening though, so I have walked into a few enemies and taken some damage, so I need to be careful. The only thing that can kill me now is me. This AoE is fun though. I want to see how big we can make it. We're getting a healthy mix of morons. The leg ones are going to run at me, which is stupid because they're very brittle. Increasing attack speed by 10% would also be really good. I'm tempted to start getting that because the more we fire, the more our AoE chance on hits happen. So I am actually going to take that for now. 10% is actually going to make a pretty big difference to our DPS. The faster we can fire this, the more goo balls we can fire. We have another mini boss coming in. This one's got big strong legs. We're going to melt him, then hopefully he's going to give us a whole bunch of damage. We're going to get 1 times 15 AoE radius. I'll take that. That's just simply bigger stuff for me. Okay, I'm going to get Faithful Spear of the Halo since none of these are AoE. I've just never seen the upgrades this far. Gain 1 extra damage per HP loss and a 20% chance to deal damage 1 extra time if your HP is below 40%. If we're below 20%, we have a chance to send down a spear, dealing damage also, kind of like a Guardian Angel. We got another mini-boss coming in. He's very slow, so I'm actually just going to wait for him here. Oh, no, I was looking the wrong way. He wasn't a mini-boss, he just looked like it. We got 2 mini-bosses coming in. This is good. This is lots of upgrades for us. I want to hear that horn non-stop. 3 times Exploding Fire Pool. That's great. So, especially if I'm hanging out one area, there's just going to be like a lava pool around me. That's what that big thing is. And these guys, they're all sitting in a giant lava pool now. And this guy, he's not very quick. Our 1v1 damage, still nothing to write home about. But we're certainly going to get there. Might take us 12 hours, but we're going to do it. Okay, we're getting an extra 50% crit damage. Not overly exciting, but that is simply damage. Next, we got not AoE, but I'm going to get soft blobs. Your initial attacks will pierce 1 time. The piercing bullet does less damage as it goes through, but that might also still be more chance on hits. So that means we'll just get more chain reactions. We're already at the nuclear level for we just turned the entire map into lava. Pretty sure I can just hold still for the most part now. And aside from their launchers, we'll just destroy everything around us and turn the floor into lava. I guess on this, we'll just deal more damage the faster you move, because we do have maximum movement speed now, so that's just going to add a little bit of our initial damage, which will make a small difference along the way. I do love these nuclear-sized explosions, though. This is really just a lot of fun. Moomsa has returned for the fight, and we're just going to lure Moomsa through the lava fields, which means pretty much walking in any direction at this point. There's definitely no AoE here, but there's Spiky Hide, regenerate 0.09 HP every 3 seconds and take 20% less damage. Enemies that touch me also get hurt. Not that that's a really big deal, because enemies are going to get pretty tough, so that damage is probably going to be pretty much worthless. What's not going to be worthless is a 2 times 20% crit chance, so we're going to be doing a lot of crits. which does mean our AoE as well. Ooh, this is going to be great for my AoE explosions. Yeah, there goes everything on the map.
Big explosions for everyone.
I'm going to give more into Obliteration. Dealing damage to enemies at 90% HP has a 1 in 4 chance to deal 40% of that damage again. And you know what? If we can just keep doing damage, more damage, good things are going to happen. I can feel it. And we got another mini-boss coming in who's going to enjoy a large field of explosions for a moment. I didn't even see him running up behind me. Oh, we got a second mini-boss. This is perfect. The more mini-bosses, the better. Idiot stick number 1 has died, leaving us with an extra piercing for our attack. So my projectiles pierce 2 times now, which is actually going to be a pretty big help if they can have their chance on hit. Enemies have a 15% chance to explode on death, dealing 15 AoE damage and leaving a pool of fire, dealing 3.3 damage every 3 seconds. The explosion releases 3 volcanic orbs, exploding on impact themselves. So we're literally creating volcanoes now. We're launching volcanoes that maybe also launch volcanoes themselves. And then we murdered an octopus and picked up this thing, which gives us post-mortem obliteration. Dealing damage to enemies of 80% has a 35% chance to deal 75% of that damage again. If the target dies, trigger a post-mortem obliteration resulting in a 100% bonus to on-death effects. And I'm pretty sure we have some on-death effects thanks to our other things, so that might actually really synergize nicely with other things. We're gonna murder another octopus. We got another mini-boss showing up. We got a pink upgrade, so this one could be good. 2 times spiky discharge. So we're regenerating HP very quickly. We take 50% less damage. Damage dealt to me is stored. Once released, a burst of spikes erupts, doing 500% of the damage. That seems really strong in itself. I'm not really sure how much damage we're going to be taking. I forgot there's another mini-boss. There's been mini-boss after mini-boss. This is a record streak. We're going to take a 5% crit damage upgrade, which is perfectly fine by me. Another mini-boss already. These are just non-stop and I'm here for it. Increase the radius of all AoE by 60%, so that's an extra 15% increase to AoE size. And after destroying the mini-boss, we get a 3 times whatever this one is, ultrasonic wave. Release a medium ultrasonic wave every half a second, dealing 5 damage. That's when it starts his sonic howl, so that's basically like a evaporator aura around us. And Magmas has come back for us. They actually managed to hit us with some magma, and there's another mini-boss coming in. Okay, we're getting 30% extra crit damage, and yes, that does apply to my AoE, so that's just pure raw damage. Then we're gonna get Wildfire. Enemies have a 22.5% chance to ignite an AoE Wildfire upon death. We've destroyed the boss, and now we've picked up whatever this one is. Splinter attacks have a 20% chance. Yep, that's fine. And a gold, 40% attack speed increase. Perfect. That's a really big one. So much more damage in AoE now. I feel like I don't want to leave this level because it's basically made of mini-bosses and therefore upgrades. Oh, this would be a good test. Lots of the helmet-wearing weirdos. Those guys are fairly tough, but they don't like nuclear bombs. Yeah, these giant explosions are actually a lot better than I thought they would be. I knew they'd be fun, but like they're really actually destroying everything on and off the screen. Once they get going with a proper chain reaction like that, like it's unstoppable. Yeah, everything just evaporates and I'm here for it. Of all the choices here, I guess I will just take a little more piercing. The more bullets going out, the more chance for our AoE to happen. We've officially now murdered 30,000 of these beautiful morons. Increase the AoE damage by another 15%. That's pretty bad news for the enemies, because the damage is already pretty high that they're just sort of evaporating. This will be another good damage test. We're going to fight Magmas, but we're going to be the providers of Magma this time, because we're just going to drop Magma balls on his head. Yeah, he doesn't really seem to be able to do anything about that. All he can do is very slowly fire big red lasers at us, and if I stand over here, he really can't even hit me. Then he exploded and lived happily ever after. Well, there's a 60% damage multiplier, so that doesn't hurt. I'm not really sure what damage that applies to, but for reference, our regurgitated goo hits for 55 damage. There's a few tempting upgrades here. I'm going to upgrade my meteoroid. We now have a 20% chance to launch it, and it deals 110 damage. And they're also adequately big. We're very quickly up now to 40,000 morons killed because they're just flying at me now. Like flies straight into the sun. They have no chance of getting anywhere, but they try so hard. So let's go ahead and make our AoE even bigger. It's currently at 310% size. That's why everything is so big. And the explosions are getting really stupid. I'm just going to try and hold still here for a little bit. I think something did hit me there. I'm not really sure what. But if I sit here, the explosions and everything should keep me pretty safe. When I get bored, I can go pick up one of the horseshoes. So far, so good. We are getting some of the bigger dummies coming toward us. They're definitely tougher, but our explosions are up to the task. Enemies have a 1 in 7 chance to blow up, dealing 25 damage plus 25% of their max HP as AoE damage. And when they explode, they launch 5 volcanic orbs, dealing 25 damage. They launch 125 damage out. So now when enemies die, they're really mega bombs. And then we're going to get 2 times Spear Halo thing, unmeasurable power. I'm not entirely sure what I just said, but here's what it does. Gain 1.5 extra damage per HP lost and 20% chance to do 1 extra time per hit if your HP is below 40. If your HP is below 30, there's a 25% chance to send down a spear, dealing 47.5 damage to an enemy, which is actually a lot. Lots of tough enemies on this one, and we got a mini boss coming in. Also lots of the annoying spider things, but luckily our attacks reach very far because the whole screen explodes. We definitely need still bigger explosions. I want each individual thing to take up the entire screen. And to help things along, increase AoE damage by another 15%. And we'll celebrate with a giant explosion for everyone. 60,000 morons killed, we have the next boss. It's really fun going into these big hordes of enemies because we get absolutely massive explosions. Even the mini bosses are up to 50,000 HP at this point. The boss has 90,000. To really bring out the full potential of this build, we need more enemies to hit though, because the more things we hit, the more damage we do with some of our effects, and that's gonna help, but we do have 3 idiots here now also running in circles. And plus, as we're killing enemies, we get lots of explosions happening from that, and that certainly adds to our damage a lot. Idiot 1 is dead, a red upgrade, this could be a good one. 2 times 10 crit damage, okay, that's still extra damage for us. Another idiot is dead, and 2 idiots are dead. Okay, there's an extra 20% crit chance, so that's gotta put us at a 75% crit chance. 2 times that upgrade, each critical strike has a 40% chance causing slashes, dealing 75% damage. Okay, now we're getting into these guys wearing helmets, so let's see if the explosions are up to the task of this. As soon as they start to die, they will keep exploding. Yep, there we go, a little chain reaction, because our explosions deal 25% of their max HP. They didn't die nearly as quick as I hoped they would, so we're going to need to add more damage. These little guys though, they pop like popcorn. Bigger guys, not so much yet. Wildfire would be fun, but we can get 15% more damage overall on all of our AoE. And more AoE radius, another 15%. So all of our explosions just got 15% bigger. Another mini boss coming in somewhere, so we're going to track him down before doing too much damage to the boss. Only 30,000 HP on this one, because he's an octopus. He'll hopefully have an amazing AoE upgrade for me though. 1 times 5% AoE radius, it is an AoE upgrade. AoE size is up to 330% now, so that's definitely getting big. That gave me a gold upgrade, 4 times 20 crit damage, 80% crit damage. Crit damage is up to almost 400%, and our critical strikes are almost 100% chance of happening. That's why it's all pink everywhere. There is a mini boss out here somewhere, found him. Okay, he's over here, so we'll see if we can focus some damage on him. AoE, another 15% size. Look how big our pancakes are at this point. They literally take up like a quarter of the entire screen. Plus another 5% attack speed. That's actually a really big one at this point. That's going to mean a lot more explosions in AoE. Another mini boss coming in, but there's a lot of non-helpety guys, so that should mean, well, big easy explosions plus a boss. The mini boss only has 38,000 HP. I think they're getting weaker. There's another 5% crit damage, which is actually going to add a lot of extra damage on the top end. The boss exploded. 20% attack speed. Great. Enemies have an almost 1 in 3 chance to ignite an AoE wildfire upon death, dealing 6.5 damage every 0.5 seconds or 3 seconds. We're starting to get so many helmeted enemies, they are occasionally able to touch me. More accurately, I'm walking into them more because I just walk around carelessly. But at this point, we've actually killed over 100,000 of them. And our giant explosions just get that DPS really going too. It was 70,000 DPS for a moment. And we have a mom showing up to try and take us down. We haven't fought him very many times. We are going to melt him in fire. Before he's even dead, we've leveled up again. We're going to get feral black holes. So we now have a 12.5 chance to make an implosion and create a black hole. And there's also a chance for spawning a feral black hole for each enemy hit. We are going to hit a lot of enemies, so I think we're going to have like a chain reaction of black holes. The boss is dead, hopefully for a big AoE upgrade. 2 times 10% attack speed. That's also very good. And we have a mini boss showing up. So we'll see how fast we can destroy the mini boss. Looks like we're actually going to get the job done reasonably quick. They're dead. An extra 10% damage. Definitely taking damage fairly consistently now. Luckily we are very, very tough, so we're not that worried about it, but the enemies can escalate very quickly and kill us in a moment. So hopefully our explosions keep carrying us forward. Another mini boss. 2 mini bosses. This one's got 56,000, soon to be 0 HP. The other one's going to come running at us, and that's perfect. We can kite them around and have them chain reaction each other. Well, there's a 2 times 10% crit chance, so yep, that puts us up to an even 100% crit chance. So every hit we do is a critical hit. Every single one of them. 115% crit chance. That mini-boss has 110,000 HP. He died rather abruptly, I'm not really sure what happened, but something very powerful obviously hit him. Then we're going to get increase your attack speed by another 10%. We're now going to have a 1 in 4% chance to drop a meteorite for 175 damage. I haven't really noticed so far how often those go off, but they're actually really consistent. They're just kind of hard to see amongst the orange explosions. My DPS under one of those big explosions I just saw went up to 680,000. We just need these big hordes of enemies. There's 170, there's 500,000 DPS. Look at it all go. I gotta pay attention to where I'm walking. I was looking at the DPS meter. There were 700,000 again. So we really are a nuke launcher at this point. We just launch these giant explosions at everyone. They are very big and very destructive, even against these big helmet-wearing morons. Health dropped to 3.6 there. I really gotta pay attention, but you can see what I'm dealing with. Like, it's hard to see what's what. Oh, there's 1.6 million DPS. We broke the million mark. We actually smashed the million mark. Now that our HP is getting low, those little spears are starting to come out and stab everything. That's probably actually gonna add a ton of damage in itself. That's fun. I can just walk towards enemies until my health comes back at least. I kind of want to try that again against the boss. We got little rings going in. We got little things hitting the boss. Yeah, that's gotta add some DPS. If I really march into these little... Wow, did you see that DPS? I didn't get a good look at that number, but that seemed like it was in tens of millions. Maybe I was wrong. There's a 5 million, so it actually might have been. Comes with these little babies. We murder enough babies, our DPS goes up. I flew a little too close to the sun and was looking at the DPS meter. But that was crazy DPS.